Hey, so last week we talked about what to do if your demand gen strategy isn't getting you the results that you thought it was supposed to achieve. For today's episode, I've had a lot of people ask, like, what should they be doing right now in the middle of this weird economic recession where budgets are being scrutinized? Like, leadership might have gotten bought in to a demand gen strategy, but there's still pressure, right? Pressure to perform, pressure to do more with less, pressure to still have leads for the sales team, right? Like, the business still needs to run. And so I wanted to take today's episode to talk a little bit more about what I would do in this position. I haven't been in house during an economic recession like the one that we're facing today, but I have been in a situation where budgets were slashed like 50% just based on the business outcomes. And so, really learning about what to do at that point, how you would plan to do more with less, and where I started. And so, I wanted to share that with you all today. I hope you guys find value in it. With budgets being scrutinized right now and the pressure to deliver anything, even if you're running a demand generation strategy, my recommendation is in short, it comes down to two things. And those two things are number one, check your funnel. You have to figure out how the journey between what people, when they first ask to talk to sales, when they first get into your funnel, what does that engagement look like at the point of acquisition all the way through becoming a customer and the relationship thereafter, right? What you want to do right now is make sure that there's no holes or leaks in your funnel. You want to make sure that it's solid and it's built of concrete and not sand. Okay. The second thing that I think you should do is you should assess the playing field. So, whether that's with the market, whether that's with your existing customers, essentially what you want to do is you want to find the opportunities. Where can you make the most bang for your buck? Where is the best place to be present for your audiences? What are some of the tactics or the channels that you should slash just based on, sure, they're nice to have, but they're not essential. Some channels will absolutely be essential and that you should not give up. So part of this, of assessing the playing field and figuring out what those opportunities are, is to number one, like look at your existing pipeline. Look at ways that things could be better. And this goes back to making sure that you don't have leaks in your funnel, right? Or looking at what that process will look like. Are there ways that opportunities in pipeline could be better nurtured? How can we accelerate some of the conversations between a stage one or a stage two? Where are some of the opportunities currently falling off? Are you losing opportunities? Is there a specific point of conversation or a product feature? Where are the opportunities drying up? That's the next thing that I would want to look at if those are quick wins. You could also look at running some close lost campaigns. I always wanted to create an evergreen, always on close lost campaign that is triggered based on the cleanups of the lost reasons. So after a certain amount of point, I normally did about 6 months after the opportunities got closed lost. If no other activities have happened, they would automatically get picked up on a nurture that's built specifically for that lost reason. In a perfect world, this would be always on, right? Every 6 months, depending on the opportunity, it would get picked up. If you're not currently there, you can also do coupled closed lost campaigns. So maybe 2 years ago, you did a closed lost campaign to two of the lost reasons. Maybe this time around, you can do 3 closed lost campaigns for either the same 2 lost reasons or 3 different ones, right? So you can kind of couple this along with some of your other marketing initiatives, because closed lost for me has always kind of been a pot of gold, especially if you have a way to tie back what those lost reasons are and to figure out ways to re-engage them. So I always found the best way to re-engage closed lost is by offering more points of engagement rather than coming back and asking like if now is a better time to meet. So if you currently lost an opportunity, say, I don't know, because you didn't have a product feature and that was 2 years ago, and maybe they chose a competitor because they had that specific product feature, you can draft an email nurture that talks about how you guys launched this new product feature and how it's different from the competitors. and then ask how the engagement is currently going, or if you're open to having another conversation for exploring this new product feature. And like just non-direct, right? Brief, informative, offer resources for them to either watch a video, read a blog, whatever. You're not saying like, hey, it's now a better time to leave your competitor and come to me. I don't think that's smart business. I don't believe in like specific competitor campaigns where you're targeting your competitors, asking for them to switch and this and that. Personally, I don't believe in those. I've never seen a lot of success come for those. So I wouldn't recommend that. And especially right now, if you're like scrutinized for budget and everything is being like pressured, I would not put that as a list to be doing right now in your activities. Another thing that you can also look at are if you have a partner channel. A lot of businesses, they have partner integrations, partner solutions, or just friends, right? Referrals that work well with driving some opportunities for the business. Look at ways on how you can capitalize, sorry, words, how you can capitalize on those relationships. See if you need to be doing more partner marketing. Do you need to be doing more partner events? Like, what are ways that they've been successful in driving you quality customers? And then how can you essentially amp that up? Most of the time, partner marketing is not extremely expensive. Of course, there's still going to be some money behind it, right? Because it's business at the end of the day. But I found it to be a pretty good cost effective, and not only that, but like effective in general, like from the win ratios, right? Like if somebody is coming in as a referral, your percentage to win that is a lot higher than if somebody's like, oh, I heard of you from somewhere, right? So your ROI is just a tad bit stronger, even though you do have a little bit of investment up front. The next thing that I would consider doing is to look at what are some of the sources and the channels that has gotten somebody, one of your best customers, through your funnel the fastest, all the way from awareness to conversion, close deals, and staying on for however long they're a customer. Figure out what that journey looks like, and if that still makes sense today and where your buyers are at and where your product is at. If yes, buckle that down. Figure out a way to scale that. Figure out a way to do more of that at scale. That's what we want to be doing right now. You could figure out how to like capture demand a little bit better. In my 2 cents, right? Because this is my podcast, and what you guys are all looking for is for my 2 cents, and I say that so humbly. I don't think right now is the best time to put more money into Google Ads. Like, say you have Google Ads up and running and you have it for your high intent conversions and your demo conversions. I don't think right now you should be saying, oh, how can we get more? Just throw more into Google Ads. I don't think that's the right strategy, because the way that you can maximize your Google Ads investment is by driving awareness for more people to search for you to gain that conversion, right? So look at what that prior journey was before somebody came for a Google Ads conversion, and use that to justify the spend and then the budget allocation for that. And then with the anticipation, right, and the strategy behind it of the multi-touch or omni-channel journey between this channel, Google Ads, like email marketing or whatever else you're doing. So probably don't add too much more into Google Ads if you're already sustainable, right, with Google Ads, which I imagine if you're on a demand gen strategy, like you're pretty okay with the Google Ads strategy. Make sure you're looking at, if you haven't implemented this, the how did you hear about us self-reported attribution field. If you have implemented it, take a look at the actual data right now and use that to couple it with your Google Ads approach and figure out, like, dial back what the data is actually telling you. Like, this goes back to scale what's working. Figure out like the fastest pipeline journey and then figure out a way to mold that. One of the things that I'm hearing right now is that customer marketing is next on the list in terms of priorities for a lot of demand gen marketers. It's a really easy way to cross-sell or upsell, right? So don't overlook your customers. Retention right now, as you guys have probably have heard, is really important. Focus on maintaining the business you guys currently have and not ignoring them to go and generate net new. Again, this goes back, make sure your foundation and your funnel are concrete and not built of sand. And then from there, are there opportunities to cross-sell or upsell? With customer marketing, you can think of things like fireside chats or webinars or podcasts or even in-person events. But having that social proof and that level of credibility from your customers is going to go a long way in the market by establishing yourself as an industry leader. It's also going to help from like a referral standpoint, right? If they're your best customer, other companies probably know or use, right, or something with them to where that those conversations and those networking opportunities come about. And that's also critical from a demand generation standpoint, just by doing like non-demand creation activities, quote unquote, right? Like even though it's customer marketing, you're still creating demand by tapping into the network of your existing customers, right? And using that as promotions for your net new prospect database, right? And like those type of, if you're doing socials, paid social, you can leverage those conversations and those insights to create some more demand. So the next point to this, and this is the last point that I'll make for today's podcast, especially with like customer marketing events, but for events as a whole, like even if you want to do webinars that may not necessarily involve a customer, make sure that your process is solid. And I said your funnel, your marketing, your foundation, all of that. Don't just do a webinar for the sake of needing to do a webinar. Like make sure you have follow-ups in place. Make sure you can actually capitalize on the momentum that you're creating. If not, like you're pretty much half-assing the opportunity. That's not going to do anybody any good. It's just going to waste the precious money that you're being asked to keep tightly right now. So make sure you're not just doing something for the sake of doing something, and that you have a thought out process situated so that you're not losing out on the momentum that you've worked so hard to build so far. And also, I said that was the last point, but I'll close with this one. Don't try to be everywhere. Right now, I mean, with your budget being cut, you probably can't anyways, but make sure that what you are investing in right now is truly that best decision. And that's only going to come if you actually do the analysis within your pipeline, within your database, within your CRM. That's the only way you're going to be able to actually figure out where you should be investing your money. And that's going to start as a foundation. And then anything you do from there, you can scale up of what's working.